Hello everybody, mega goal number 5, third secondary 11 form meaning and function, pages 92 and 93. Now let's take a look at the objectives. Number 1, present perfect versus present perfect progressive. Number 2, words connected with hobbies and interests. Number 3, adjective plus preposition plus gerund. Now, right now, please move on to pages 92 and 93 and please follow up with me as I explain this lesson. So the first thing we will be discussing is the present perfect progressive versus the present perfect simple. Present perfect progressive اللي هي المضارع التام المستمر. Present perfect simple المضارع التام. So let's take a look at each tense separately and then we will discuss, of course, each tense when it comes to how do we formulate each one of them and when do we use each one of them, and as well I'm gonna give you an example on each one of them. Okay, طبعا راح نتكلم عن كل واحد من الأسباب من ناحية كيف نكون هذا الفعل. بنتكلم برضو عن متى نستخدم هذا الفعل وبرضو راح أعطيكم أمثلة على كل الأفعال. Anyways, so the present perfect progressive we formulate it or it is formulated usually this way: has, have plus been plus verb ing. So has, have been eating. As for the present perfect simple, has or have plus verb 3 or the past participle of the verb اللي هي التصريف الثالث للفعل. So has, have been eating is the present progressive, while has, have eaten is the present perfect simple. Now, when do we use each tense? Okay, as for the present perfect progressive, we use it to say how long something has been happening. المدة أو الزمن بشكل عام يعني اللي استمر فيها الحدث. So I use it usually with for and since. I have been reading for 2 hours. So have been reading is in the present perfect progressive, and because we are focusing on time or how long I have been reading, طبعا استخدمنا ال present perfect progressive. As for the present perfect simple, we use it to say how many things have been done, عدد الأشياء اللي تم إنجازها, or how many times أو المرة. For example, 3, 4, 400. For example, I have read 3 books. يعني هنا have read is in the present perfect simple, and here we're focusing on the number of books. 3 books. Okay, so I have read 3 books. طبعا إذا دائما تبغون يعني تعرفون كيف فعل الأفعال وممكن يلخبط إنك تحفظين أو إنك تحفظ القاعدة، فدائما أنصح إنكم تحفظون المثالين وتقيسون عليهم. طبعا هذول المثالين من أسهل الأمثلة. I have been reading for 2 hours. I have read 3 books. Okay, وكل واحد يعني يمثل زمن معين ويعطيكم الفكرة الواضحة عن متى أستخدم كل زمن. Okay, so I just before we move on and we continue differentiating between the present perfect progressive and the present perfect simple, there is something that I'd like to draw your attention to, which is have is mainly used with I, you, they, we, or in general with the plural مع الجمع. As for has, I use it with she, he, it, or with the singular مع المفرد. Anyways, let's move on. So here I have 2 examples, two examples which are taken from your book من كتابكم. Let's take a look at each one of them and then later on we will formulate a question about each one of them. Okay, بنكون سؤال على كل واحد منهم. Now, as for the present perfect progressive, Sandy and Aman have been discussing the differences in behavior between men and women for 2 hours. So this is obviously is in the present perfect progressive because طبعا have been discussing, and of course because they are focusing on the duration of time أو المدة أو how long have they been discussing this issue. طبعا استخدمنا the present perfect progressive. As for the other one, he has driven 400 miles. Okay, so this one is in the present perfect and obviously it is focusing on the number. Anyways, now if I want to formulate a question, obviously when you want to ask about time, you will say how long plus the helping verb plus the subject plus طبعا main verb which is in this condition been plus verb ing. طبعا main verb اللي هو يعني been plus ing هنا في هالحالة المقصود بها. Anyway, so in this case it will be how long. You can say how long, and the helping verb طبعا is gonna be have. The subject طبعا Sandy and Amal. Okay, how long have Sandy and Amal been and discussing, and then the continuation طبعا التكملة. طبعا be careful not to include the answer in the question. ما ضمن الإجابة في السؤال. Okay, so this is regarding this part. So usually I use how long if I want to ask about any question, a question I want to ask about something in the present perfect progressive. As for this one, for the present perfect simple, I use how many or how many times plus the helping verb, subject of course, and then the main verb. He has driven 400 miles, so you can say how many miles has he driven, okay, or has he driven, okay, which is in this condition 400 miles. In your book you have a different question, but again the question في كتابكم عندكم سؤال ثاني خلينا نشوفه بس نرجع. مكتوب عندكم how many different models of car have you driven. طبعا هنا just عشان يوضح لكم انه استخدم how many because mainly you are focusing on the number, okay, على الرقم. Okay, so طبعا both questions are considered to be accurate. طبعا السؤال عادة يعتمد على المعلومة المطلوبة، لكن هنا أنا أعطيتكم على المثال. So how many miles has he driven, okay, so it's basically the same. استخدام آخر لل present perfect progressive. Again, the present perfect progressive has, have, been plus verb ing. We use it when we talk about an annoying action or situation. يعني موقف مزعج أو يعني annoying يعني مزعج. Okay, I haven't slept at all. My phone has been ringing all night. So here has been ringing يعني هاتفي استمر في الرنين طوال الليل. So in this condition, in this case, sorry, I used or we used the present perfect progressive, which is has, have, been plus verb ing to talk about an annoying action or situation. Okay, so this is something that is also mentioned in your book. Now, as for the time expression, which are used with the present perfect progressive, now let's take a look at them. بعض اللي هو دلالات تعبيرية على الوقت اللي تستخدم مع ال present perfect progressive. How long, for, since, all day, all week, all month, all year. طبعا انتوا أهم شيء تعرفون ال for وال since والفرق بينهم. إن ال for تستخدم للإشارة على الدوريشن، لكن since منذ بداية الشيء. They have been talking for an hour. Okay, طبعا or إذا كنت مثلا بكتب هنا since بدال for بقول هنا since for example 1 o'clock منذ بداية الشيء. So I just want you to focus on the differences between since and for. For the duration المدة since منذ بداية الشيء. The children are getting bored. Okay, so this is regarding this point. Now let's take a look at this point, which is adjective plus preposition plus the gerund. Now adjective اللي هي الصفات مثل ما انتم عارفين، preposition حروف الجر، gerund اللي هي verb ing. In your book طبعا they mentioned 3 adjectives. يعني الصفة الثالثة اللي ذكرت ما أعتقد إنها صحيحة، لكن إنه أنا I checked many references، شيكت على كثير من المراجع فما أدري I haven't included it لأنه أنا I'm not sure if it's accurate or not. So I'm just gonna focus on these two. نرجع adjectives plus preposition plus gerund. انتوا عارفين الجرند أخذناها من قبل اللي هي verb ing. So here good at interested in plus اللي هي الجرند. لازم تعرفون إن good تجي معها good at يعني أنت جيد في أمر ما. interested عادة يجي معها in. طبعا يجي بعدهم الجرند. I am not very good at playing sport. طبعا هنا العكس يعني من good at لأنها هنا جات مع not. طبعا انتوا عارفين so this is applying يعني the rule directly مباشرة. I am interested in reading all sorts of stories. So here it came طبعا أتى له preposition مثل ما شرحت لكم والat أو الin والgerund اللي هي verb ing. وفي أفعال كثيرة تتبع هذه القاعدة ممكن ترجعون لها في يعني you can google them. We have plenty of يعني في عدة أفعال يعني عفوا في عدة صفات يجي بعدها preposition حروف الجر وبعدها الجرند. Okay, but these are the most common ones. طبعا حاولوا تكونون جمل باستخدام good at و interested in. For example, I'm good at playing computer games. I'm good at for example fixing things, whatever. I am interested in for example listening to music or whatever. Anyways طبعا لازم تطبقون القاعدة as it is. Now let's move on to the last thing, which is words connected with hobbies and interest. بعض الكلمات اللي لها علاقة بالhobbies والinterest. Let's go through them quickly. طبعا you can just google them يعني تشوفون يعني عفوا يعني when you google them راح أو you can translate them to أو إنكم تترجمونها. Here are some words which are connected with popular free time activities or some words connected with hobby or interest of your own. Things that you do in your free time. Playing sports, you can play a team sport, water sport, join a club. As for reading books, you can say that you are interested in science fiction or detective stories or adventure stories, and you can say this book is one of the bestseller من أفضل الكتب مبيعا. poetry which is اللي هو الشعر. طبعا ممكن على الشخص اللي يحب القراءة يطلقون عليها أو يطلقون عليه bookworm اللي هو دودة زي الكتب. As for collecting things, you can say يعني هواية stamps, stuff, toys, whatever, comic books. As for surfing the internet اللي هو تصفح الانترنت, you can say computer, laptop, educational, play game, internet cafe, enjoyment, knowledge, new information. And also you can talk about your own hobby. Okay, طبعا this is regarding some of the words which are connected or related to hobbies and interests. So right now we have reached the end of the lesson. I hope that you've enjoyed our lesson. Don't forget again to subscribe, share this video with your friends, and of course أنا راح أنزل لكم السمري في القناة في التليجرام وبترك لكم عنوانها في الديسكريبشن box below. Till next time, have a good one.